Yeah, spark that. Yeah, spark that. Yeah. Hey.
Big face.
Okay. Holla at your boy if you need a little something. I be in the hood. I be in the hood. Holla at your boy if you need a little something. I be in the hood.
Put 'em up.
Welcome to Big Faces Worldwide. It's your guy Big Will, and I'm back with some boxing talk. What's good, fam? Hey, listen, man, first off, I want to welcome everybody to the channel. And like I always say, fam, if you're new here, I need you to be here. So think about hitting that subscribe button as we stay knee deep into this boxing conversation, man. Now, as those Ohio boys, excuse me, are they back, man? We just saw Robert Easter Jr. We saw Adrien Broner. Both of them fought this Saturday, man. We also seen Dominic Brazil on that card go up against Otto Wallin. And I'm going to start with that fight, man. Dominic Brazil, in my opinion, I think it's about time for Dominic Brazil to hang it up, man. I think Brazil has, had opportunities. He had 2 title shots against Anthony Joshua, against Deontay Wilder. The Anthony Joshua fight, he got beat up real bad. The fight against Deontay Wilder, he was knocked out in the first round. And this latest fight with Otto Wallin just beat him up, man. He just beat him up, outboxed him, made him look slow, made him look like he had no business being in the ring with them, man. Shouts out to Otto Wallin. Congratulations on a big victory. Excuse me. And I think this victory will take Otto Wallin to higher places, man. You know what I'm saying? He proved himself that, the fight against Tyson Fury wasn't just a fluke, that he can get in there and fight against these guys in the top 5, top 10 rankings, man. Otto Wallin, I believe, gives all these heavyweights a run for their money. I believe that, should he step in there with a guy like Luis Ortiz, I think that would be a great matchup for Otto Wallin, man. I think that the sky's the future. You know what I mean? The sky is the future for him, man. And Brazil, I think he just needs to hang it up. He hang it up, man. He did not look good in the fight. He took a lot of punishment. I think his corner should have stopped the fight long ago. You know what I mean? Abel Sanchez, is his new trainer. He left Virgil Hunter. And Abel Sanchez, he talked about how, he should have got with Abel earlier, how good of a camp they had, how their chemistry was in sync, and none of that showed up Saturday night, man. He looked awful. He looked terrible, and I wish nothing but the best for Brazil, but I do think that he needs to hang it up before he gets seriously hurt. He took a lot of unnecessary punishment in that fight. And, should he continue, we don't know what can happen to him. You know what I'm saying? He may be in a fight where he gets hurt really bad. You know what I'm saying? But Robert Easter Jr. going up against Ryan Blue Chip Martin. It was a very good fight, especially a good showing for Robert Easter Jr. This is the Robert Easter that we have been looking for years. You know what I'm saying? With this height and reach, the only thing I ever wanted to see was Robert Easter use that stick, use that jab, and continue to rely on it. And he finally put it together against Ryan Martin, man. He looked good doing it. He's been out the ring for 2 years, and coming back fighting a guy like Ryan Martin, who was expected to have a very, very good boxing career. He went over there to the UK and took a beating by Josh Taylor in the World Boxing Super Series, in a fight where he admitted that he just could not pull the trigger, could not let his hands go. And although he let his hands go a lot more in this fight against Robert Easter, he clearly is not on the level of the top 140-pound fighters. You know what I'm saying? He got a lot of things to work on, and you just got to go back to the gym and start from the beginning, man. You know what I mean? And get it from the mud, you know. But as far as Robert Easter, that's exactly what I wanted to see. I wanted to see Robert Easter stick to his game plan, because Robert Easter always comes out in the first couple rounds and looks spectacular. He's throwing the jab, he's looking quick, he's looking sharp, and then somewhere in the middle rounds where, you know, he gets hit, he wants to get on the inside and bang. And I don't think that's Robert Easter's best move, man. You know what I'm saying? When you got that height and you got that reach and advantage, you have to use it. You know what I'm saying? Excuse that noise, man. But when you got that reach and advantage, you have to use it, and he did it. He did it Saturday night, man. So hopefully he can continue to stick to the game plan, and I think that, you know, sharpen up on a few more things, man, and maybe he can compete with the big dogs at 140. See, right now I think he's, you know, he'll do. Right now, I think that he'll do fairly well against those guys, man. But I cannot say with 100% certainty that you know, Easter can beat those guys at 140. But there's a lot of guys that Easter can fight, man. There's Regis Prograis over there at 140. I know that, you know, he has spoke about fighting Devin Haney. You know, Devin Haney been calling Robert Easter out for years. You know, I believe before he had 15 fights, there's video of Devin Haney calling out Robert Easter. So I think that fight will be a good fight. You know, I would lean towards Devin Haney. I think Devin Haney is the younger, the more explosive kid, and, you know, I think right now at this point that he'll be able to go in there and you know, outwork Robert Easter, man. But this new Robert Easter that we're seeing, I'm impressed. I like it, and I want to see more of it. And, you know, hopefully he works on a couple other things, man, and then we can see Robert Easter in there with the top guys, man. Now the main event, Adrien the Problem Broner. Adrien Broner, we know, has been through some things, fam. You know what I'm saying? He has definitely been through some things. I think that, let me look at something real quick, man. I thought Adrien Broner, you know, he's fighting addiction with alcohol. No telling what type of drugs Adrien is doing. You know what I mean? He says he's addicted to sex and gambling, and we have seen it. You know what I mean? We have seen Broner in trouble with the law. We have seen him getting arrested and things like that, man. I know Adrien Broner's only 31 years old, but he looked like a old 31 years old. You know what I mean? Is that due to the fact that he has been out of the ring for 2 years? Is that due to the fact that, you know, he does this partying and everything is catching up to him? You know what I'm saying? Will he be sharper in his next fight? Because a lot of people think that Giovanni Santiago had no business seeing the 12th round. You know, a lot of people had Adrien Broner going in there, you know, looking at this fight as a tune-up, just you know, coming off a 2-year layoff, you know, drying out, and just coming in there working on some things. And we all figured that he would stop Santiago. We didn't know much about Santiago, and my feelings are the same. I still think that Adrien Broner should have stopped him. I think he should have got him out of there. Now, there's been a lot of questions, and the questions are, is Adrien Broner done? I know after the fight, guys like Terrence Crawford, guys like Jermell Charlo, guys like Regis Prograis, and a lot of boxing pundits, they all thought that Adrien Broner lost that fight. You know, I think it could have went either way. I don't see Santiago winning the fight. If anything, I do believe Broner won the fight, but I believe it was more difficult than he expected. And I think it was because of the lack of activity and the fact that all those vices has finally caught up with him. Now, if he's, you know, true to his word, if he's true to his game plan, that he can, ditch those vices and can continue to train and not party and not, do the things that has been hurtful to his career, maybe he can get back to some type of form that we used to see in Adrien Broner. This is like the third time that, he had a contracted weight, and at the last minute he changed it up. I believe he did it with Porter. I know for a fact he did it with Adrien Granados, and now with this guy, Santiago. You know what I'm saying? He's been training all this time, showing all these videos and pictures of him training, his body looking shredded, but yet come fight week, you're not able to get down to the weight. There's something off in this camp. There's something off with this team, in my opinion, man. And I think, Mike Stafford has done a great job. I think Adrien Broner is a very loyal guy, and I think that Mike Stafford has taken him as far as he can. And I do believe the best Adrien Broner we have seen of late was when he joined the camp of Cunningham. When he went down to Florida and trained with Cunningham, he looked spectacular. He looked at it was in shape. You know what I mean? He fought his heart out against Jesse Vargas. Came back in the second half of that fight and was able to pull off a draw after being down on the cards early. I think, he maybe need to revisit that, look back at, Cunningham and see if they can, get together and, possibly work in the future, man. But, Adrien Broner, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. You know what I'm saying? I do think that he needs a couple more fights before he gets in there with a guy like Regis Prograis. I know that PBC, they're thinking about building that fight, putting that fight together. But as of right now, I think Regis Prograis will beat Adrien Broner up very, very bad, man. And I really don't want to see that. I don't want to see that, man. Not if Broner's not at his top. You know what I mean? Now, if he's in top shape and he's ready to fight and he get beat up, cool. But if he's not really 100% and goes in there against Regis Prograis and get the dog shit beat out of him, man, that's something I don't want to see. So we'll see what's next for Broner. But no, I don't think his career is over. I think Broner has, couple more chances to prove himself. I think one or two more fights, and depending on how he look, I think he'll be ready for a fight with Prograis or another top guy at 140. But we'll see, man. The Ohio boys were back. It was good to see them. When they was on top, man, they brought a lot of spunk and a lot of pizzazz to the sport of boxing. They were flashy, they were brass, they were talking a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's good that they're back, and hopefully they can get back to the point where they feel as confident as they were a couple years ago. But listen, that's all I got, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to check us out on social media, Twitter, Instagram, at Big Faces Worldwide, all one word. You can also check us out at Little Duke Boy. We are in the process of making a movie. It should be out later on this year. But in the meantime and in between time, stay blessed, fam, and keep on supporting this sport that we love called boxing. And watch your circle before they hurt you. Peace out.